The panel session 5 on this ICMSDS 2020. Professor Eric Schoen from Catholic University Leuven, Belgium, will be the invited speaker, and the session will lead by Dr. Bagus Sartono. I will read his curriculum vitae in advance. Dr. Bagus Sartono was bachelor and master degree from Statistics of IPB University and PhD degree from Applied Economics University Antwerpen, Belgium. His research interest is at the area experimental designs, data mining, ensemble approach, data mining, high-dimensional regression, and business intelligence. And his latest research, European Journal of Operational Research at 2020. Ladies and gentlemen, let now we welcome together Dr. Bagus Sartono to lead the panel session 5. The time is yours, Dr. Sartono.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Sarah. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon to all of you, and also good morning for Professor Eric Schoen, who live in Rotterdam, Netherlands. I think it's in the morning here, in there. Okay, and today, this afternoon, we will have Professor Eric Schoen from the Faculty of Bioscience Engineering in KU Leuven. Previously, Professor Eric Schoen is a guest professor in University of Antwerp. And for your information, Professor Eric Schoen is one of my promoter when I did my PhD. So that's why at the beginning we have a conversation, because it is a long time to not to see each other. And we are very happy here, Professor Eric Schoen, to have you in the conference. And of course, we will learn a lot about your expertise. In this afternoon, Professor Eric Schoen will present a paper or a talk with the title of Order of Addition Experiments. And for your information, Eric, you will have around 30 or 40 minutes of talk, and then we will have 15 or 20 minutes question and answer session. So it's time is yours to start your presentation, Professor Eric Schoen. Please.
Well, this is a nice picture. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very happy to be with you for one of the final sessions of your conference. I'm sorry I could not attend your entire conference, and that's mainly due to the time difference. As Bagus told you, it's now in the morning in Rotterdam, that's the town I live in. It's now 8:37 to be exact, while it's now 2:30, 2:37 in your place. Nevertheless, I'm very glad that I am able to deliver a talk to you, and on a quite interesting subject. At least I think it's interesting. It's on order of addition experiments. And I'm now trying to share my screen. It might be like this. Yes, there it is. Can you confirm that you see my screen?
Yes, it's
good.
Clear.
Good. So we can go ahead. So yeah, we're going to talk about order of addition experiments. What are these? Well, order of addition experiments investigate the effect of order in which a set of treatments is applied. In the coming half hour or so, I want to first present to you a motivating example to enable you to really grasp the meaning of an order of addition experiment. Next, I will move on to how to model the effect of the order of addition of ingredients to relate the order to the things you measure in these experiments. Then I move on to statistical designs to investigate the order of addition. And then finally, there are some slides on characterization of the designs you can obtain, you can find for these types of experiments. But before diving into the real content of this talk, I first have to thank Bagus, Dr. Bagus Suartono, for inviting me to give this talk. You see here a picture of him with a special sweatshirt. It's a University of Antwerp sweatshirt. As he explained to you, he did his PhD thesis at the University of Antwerp, where I was happy to be one of his advisors. And apparently he liked going to Western Europe because after his PhD here, he returned first to Indonesia, and he came later back for about 1 month to Holland to pay a postdoctoral visit to the country I really live in Holland. And you see him here with a characteristic ingredient of the Dutch landscape, namely a windmill. I have also to thank another person, because the work I am going to present to you is joint research with Professor Robert Mee of the University of Tennessee in Knoxville in the United States of America. So it's co-work with Robert Mee. Right. Order of addition experiments. Let's introduce a motivating example. A very recent publication of Velkel and Gallagher presented an example where they investigated the effect of the addition of 6 ingredients to an automotive coating system. And system in their branch of science means a recipe. You have a recipe to make an automotive coating, and you have to add ingredients to a mixture one at a time. And the question is, does it matter in which order you add these 6 ingredients? In what order should they be added so that this coating is a nice, smooth and even coating if you apply it to automobiles? Now in the table I'm showing you here, there is a list of these 6 ingredients. We are not specialists in coating, so it does not really, we don't really exactly understand what these ingredients are about, but an important feature is that you have these 6 different ingredients and that you can add them in a particular order. So we have a primary and a secondary binder resin, a flow and leveling additive, 2 rheology modifiers, and also cross-leveling resin. Now, in that article of Velkel and Gallagher, they presented an example where they investigated 24 different orders of adding these ingredients. So in fact, they made 24 different automobile coating systems by adding these ingredients in a different order. So for example, in run 1, that's the first recipe they made, they started with R1 and then R2 and so on and so forth. And they ended with adding ingredient X. And this order differs in all of these 24 recipes. So the end result was 24 different batches of automobile coating. And to test these batches, they applied these batches to a surface, and they measured characteristics of the applied coating. And one of the important features there is the log of LSV divided by HSV. It is explained a little bit in the paper what LSV and HSV means. For us, it's important that it is important for the engineers who make these coatings. So we see here in this dot picture 24 different values that are measured. One dot corresponds to one of the coatings in the experiment. And then the question, of course, is how can we link these 24 different values to the order of the 6 compounds that were added in the mixture? To explain that, I first turn to a more simple case. And that simple case supposes that there are only 2 compounds, let's say R1 and A1. Now, if you have 2 components, you can only have 2 possible orders. You can add R1 before A1, and you can add R1 after A1. And these orders define one factor called a pairwise order factor, or a PWO factor. And in this table, you see that if you have R1 before A1, then that factor, the pairwise order factor, takes the value of +1. And if you add R1 after A1, that factor takes the value -1. So that's the pairwise order factor. And what you can do with that factor, you can do an analysis. So I made up a data set with this simple case. I envisaged 4 runs. So there were 2 runs where R1 was added before A1. So that were run 1 and 2. And there were 2 runs where R1 was added after A1. So the factor takes the value -1. And these values here of the log LSV divided by HSV here, yeah, I made them up for the example. You can make a picture. Here are the -1 values of R1, A1. These are rather high, apparently, and here are the 2 runs with the +1 value of the factor R1, A1. And there is a red line connecting the averages of the runs at each level of the pairwise order factor. Now, of course, we can do linear regression analysis. And if we do that, we see that there is a significant effect, a statistically significant effect of the pairwise order factor. So we can conclude that the order in which you apply R1 and A1 matters for the outcome of the experiment. That's the simple case. And we have now to move on to the more complex example. Where we had 24 different orders. And in addition, we had 6 compounds and not only 2 compounds. But also for this case, we can define pairwise order factors. So we have 6 compounds. And that means that there are 6 choose 2 or 15 pairwise order factors. Here they are in this tile, are the relative position of R1 with respect with respect to R2, A1, M1, X, and M2, the relative position of R2 with respect of A1, M1, X, and M2, and so on and so on. And the last pairwise order factor is the position of X with respect to M2. So these are 15 different pairwise order factors. And let's just to be sure that, that everything is clear, let's take the example of the first run, where we have R1 before R2, for example. So if R1 is before R2, then the pairwise order factor R1, R2 equals +1. And we also have X applied after M2. So that means that the pairwise order factor X M2 equals -1. And the end result is that you get a table where you have the 24 different runs, the 24 different recipes made, only differing in the order in which the experiments, the ingredients were applied. We have 15 columns, the green columns, and these are the different pairwise order factor. And we have now also this blue column, which is the response variable, which is measured after making the recipe. So the log LSV divided by HSV. To make a statistical model, we can also perform regression analysis. We have now 15 predictors, so 15 independent variables. And we have to apply multiple regression. This is the result of a multiple regression analysis. We have here the intercept and the 15 pairwise order factors. We have the regression coefficients here under the column estimate. And apparently there are two pairwise orders factors that are statistically significant. And if you look at this table, it seems that the relative positions of 3 compounds matter. First, it matters whether R1 is before or after M1. It's very statistically significant. And then it also matters whether R1 comes before or after M2. So these three, the relative position for these 3 compounds matter here. And for the rest, they don't seem to have a lot of effects. That's the result of a simple kind of regression analysis. And you also, the good news is that you have learned a lot of the about the relative order in which you have to apply these 6 compounds. Now, the experiment is open to criticism, the design to be exact. Here is the first criticism. The 15 pairwise order factors are all equally important to the experimenter. But yet, the standard errors in the experiment of the 15 factors, they differ. This picture shows the standard errors of the 15 pairwise order factors, and they have a range, admittedly not very big, between 0.0142 or something, the smallest one, until 0.0157, say. The exact numbers, we can see it in the previous slide. So, ideally, all those the designs should be such that all these standard errors are equal, so that indeed, because the pairwise order factors are equally important, you don't make a distinction between factors that are that gives a more accurate measurement and factors that give a less accurate measurement of their effect. And in parallel, there is also something going on with the so-called de-efficiency of the design. Now, for those of you who have no extensive experimental design background, the de-efficiency is a figure between the 0 and the 1, and it expresses how much information the experiment contains about the effect of the factors you are investigating. So if you denote the matrix with the intercept and the pairwise order factors with X, so in our case, we have a matrix with 24 runs, 24 rows, and 16 columns, intercept and 15 pairwise order factors. Then this expression is X transpose X divided by 24. That's the run size, the number of rows of the X matrix. You take the determinant, that's are these vertical lines here, the determinant of this matrix. You raise that to the power 1 divided by 16. 16 is the number of columns. And then you get a figure that is guaranteed to be between the 0 and the 1. And the higher the figure, the more information the design provides about the effect of the factors that you are investigating. And the value that comes out is 0.6245. Okay, nice or not, we don't know. Well, actually, we do know a little bit about that, because in a paper also from 2019 by Peng et al., they say that the maximum de-efficiency for designs where this matrix X transpose X divided by N is the same as in the matrix for the case that you investigate all the 6 factorial or 720 orders. If the matrix in your design is the same, then you have the maximum possible de-efficiency. So to recap, suppose that you would have done all 720 different orders in which you can apply these 6 compounds. You can also calculate then the pairwise order factor settings. You can calculate this matrix. And now we have 24 experiments, so no 720, but 24. And we can do the same. And if we have the same value of this quantity, we have the best de-efficiency. Now, that de-efficiency is 0.6558. And that's 5% better. Maybe not so much, but in other cases, it could be more substantial. So we were challenged. And the challenge was this. For M compounds, the maximum de-efficiency for a design where this matrix X transpose X divided by N is the same as in the matrix for all M factorial orders of adding the M compounds, that's the best. And the challenge is, can we find small designs, 24 runs, 12 runs maybe a bigger, with that maximum de-efficiency? Now, if we can find that design, and I think you will have guessed that the answer is yes, we can find that these designs. Such designs are called order of addition orthogonal arrays, or OOAs. It's a name. Now, from the study of this X transpose X matrix, there are a few things we can derive. Namely, if the run size for order of addition experiments with 4 or more compounds must be a multiple of 12. For now, you have just to assume that this is true. So that's what we know. And what we did is we wrote an algorithm to enumerate all different order of addition orthogonal arrays with 12 and 24 runs. And different means that all the designs, that there is no way of transforming one design of that set into another design by switching the labels of the compounds. So here are the results of this enumeration. We have 12 and 24 runs here. For 12 runs, we can have designs for 4 or 5 compounds, and there are two designs, 2 OOAs each. For 24 runs, we can have at most 7 compounds. So we have 4, 5, 6, and 7 compounds here. And you see that there are already a bit more different experiments. So in particular, for our example with 6 compounds, we have 22,651 different designs. And of course, they have all the same property of the matrix of the pairwise order factors. They all have the same standard errors for the coefficients. If you apply that design to a real-life case, but there might be designs that are better than others somehow. So in the last part of the talk, I'm going to explain a little bit of how to characterize these designs. We can characterize them by further criteria. So for 6 compounds, there are 15 possible subsets of 4 compounds. 16 choose 4. And for each subset of 4 compounds, we can fit a model with the main effects of the pairwise order factors and also with the interactions of the pairwise order factors. Because until now, we didn't talk about interaction effects, but it might be that the effect of one pairwise order factor depends on whether another pairwise order factor is plus or minus. Now here, for each subset of 4 compounds, we can fit a model in principle with the main effects and the interactions of the pairwise order factors. And we can define a quantity called PIC4, and that's the average d-efficiency over the 15 models. Each model is a model where you fit all the main effects of the pairwise order factors and all the interactions for a subset of 4 compounds. Here's a picture of the PIC4 value for all the 22,000 designs. And of course, what you would like to have is a design here and not a design here, because here there is a d-efficiency of 0.35, and here it approaches 0.75. That's a lot bigger. So that's one possible way of characterizing the designs we found. Now, there's another one. For 6 compounds, we have 20 subsets of 3 compounds. That's 6 choose 3. So there are 20 models with all 15 pairwise order factors and the interactions of one subset of 3 compounds. So all the pairwise order factors are in the model and the interactions of one subset of 3 compounds. And we have 20 different models then. And the IC1 is the average efficiency over the 20 models. Here is a picture of the IC1. And of course, you would like to be in the higher region because the higher the IC, the more accurate the experiment will be. And we can plot these 2 quantities in one picture. Here it is. On the horizontal axis, the PIC4, and the vertical axis, the IC1. And here are 2 promising designs with the IDs 22,650 and 22,651. Now, if we compare more completely these 2 designs with the original design, which I showed at the beginning, the challenge design of Wilkel and Gallagher, we see that we now have made a lot of improvements. First of all, the D-efficiency for a model with only the main effects of the 15 pairwise order factor is improved in both designs. It is 5% better, from 62.5% to 65.6%. The PIC4, yeah, that's also a lot better, from 56.9 to 73%. And the IC1 is also improved from 57.9 to 62.7 here, or 63.2 even here. That's this one, the upper one. So it seems that by completely enumerating all the order of addition, orthogonal arrays, that we improved the designs for this type of experiments. So here are some concluding remarks. First, we have learned that the order in which treatments are applied can be modeled with pairwise order factors. Then we have seen that it is possible to enumerate optimal designs for the model with main effects of the pairwise order factors. And we have seen that these designs can be characterized further based on the efficiencies for interaction models, models containing some main effects and some interactions. There are some still challenges left. We were able to enumerate designs for 12 and 24 runs. That's a nice, small, practical run size. But we would love to be able to enumerate bigger designs. It might be that if you have more than 7 compounds, you can't do anything useful with 24 runs only. So you would like to have bigger designs. And also, because we have seen that the design should be, the run size of a design should be a multiple of 12, it would be nice to be able also to say something about intermediate run sizes. So from 24 runs, you now have to go up to 36 for the next run size that is compatible with order of addition orthogonal arrays. But it might be nice to be able to have good experiments for, let's say, 30 runs too. So these are still challenges that should be, that are still out. And this more or less end my talk. I thank you very much for your attention.
Okay, thank you, Professor Eric Schoon, for the very nice talk. Now it's time for the audience, for the attendants to give some question. Please, if you have any question to Professor Eric Schoon, raise your hand and you can unmute your microphone. Please, is there anyone want to ask? Okay, Eric, while waiting for the audience to ask, you mentioned about the coding experiment in your illustration, Eric, and actually I still wondering what kind of other experiment that you can give an example of order of addition experiment. Can you give us another example of this kind of experiment?
Unfortunately, not really. The main application I have seen is in this paper of Volkel and Gallagher, and it relates to adding compounds to a chemical mixture. Mm-hmm. It might be that you can also apply this to field experiments where you can have treatments to a field of rice, for example. If you apply that in different orders, you can also maybe use these kind of experiments.
Yes,
but I have to admit there are not a lot of examples in literature of this type of experiments.
Yes,
I can feel that it should be that it is kind of practical feature that is useful, but there are not a lot of examples in the literature.
Yeah, because normally I think many people are familiar with factorial experiment. When for every compound, we like to find the effect of the amount of the factor, not the order of the compound you add to the treatment.
No, true.
Okay.
No, this is very specific indeed.
Yes, yes.
And the example here really showed that it matters for the particular kind of experiments in that paper I mentioned.
Yes, because in marketing research, Eric, for example, in marketing research, people in marketing research, when they do the testing experiment, for example, they have two different beverage, and then they ask the subject first try the first brand, the first milk, for example, and then they drink the second brand. Is it also an order of addition experiment, or it's just?
Yeah, but it's indeed, but it is a very simple one if you have only two orders.
Yeah. Okay.
But so that's the simplest form of an order of addition experiment.
Okay. Thank you, Eric. There is Mr. Rahmat Sagara would like to ask, please, Mr. Rahmat Sagara, you can unmute your microphone and say your question, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Agus. Good day, from Eric and also Mr. Agus. Let me introduce myself. My name is Rahmat Sagara. I am a PhD student in Statistics and Data Science Department of IPB. In this moment, I would like to ask about the runs. Yeah. The first question is, what is the meaning of runs actually? And the second one is, can we consider the run as the permutation? If so, why do you choose only 24 operands instead of 6 factorials operands? Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Your question is clear, Rahman. Well, the runs are indeed the permutations. In factorial experiments, a run is one experiment. And in this case, we have 24 experiments. And we have, and these experiments only differ according to the permutation of the 6 compounds. So yes, a run corresponds to a permutation here. Your second question was, why don't you do all 720 possible permutations? And the answer for that is they are very expensive. The experiment was actually, it's a real life experiment, and it was carried out in a chemical company in the United States. Gallagher is an employee of that company, and making these batches of coating, even in small quantities, it is costly. And if you do an experiment in industry, there are always people saying, hey, don't make it too expensive, please. So it's purely financially.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Rahmat, do you have any other feedback?
If so, we have to choose the efficient runs of the 6 factorial runs, right? So you choose only 24 of runs. What is your reason so that the 24 operands you choose in your research?
Well, 24 is the smallest possible run size that we can investigate the 6 compounds such that the design has the best possible efficiency. So we had that paper of Peng et al. I forgot to mention that at the end of the slides, there's a small reference list. I think it's the slides are also available in PDF, so you can easily obtain that. This paper of Peng et al. Proved that designs where you had this particular structure of the information matrix, X transpose X divided by N, if that was the same as the complete experiment, then you would have the best, you would have the maximum possible efficiency. And from that result, you can derive that designs for which that is the case must have a run size of that is a multiple of 12. Now, 12 runs is not sufficient to investigate 6 compounds, because for 6 compounds you need at least 15 pairwise order factors, and you can't fit a model with 15 independent variables using only 12 runs. So the next possible run size is 24. And yeah, that's the smallest possible run size. And because of these experiments are costly, they settled for 24. So partly, it's partly for theoretical reasons. You don't do 20, you don't do 27, but you do 24. And partly from economical reasons, you don't want to have a really big experiment, and really big for them was, let's say, 30 or more.
Okay, thank you. I think it's enough for Mr. Rahmat.
Thank you very much, Prof. Eric and
Welcome.
Pak Agus.
Thank you, Mas Rahmat.
You're welcome.
I will give other opportunity to the other attendants. If you have any question to Professor Eric Schoon about this talk, please. You can mention your name on the chat box or raise your hand and then unmute your microphone. No? Okay, Professor Eric, can I ask you more question?
Sure.
We know that, for example, if we have 3 compound, we know that if compound A is before B and B is before C, and then it must be that A before C. I mean, your 15 PWO, it should be there is a relationship between them.
Yeah.
Is there any special treatment for that kind of order?
Well, that's that's an interesting issue. What you are now implying is that these pairwise order factors must be correlated.
Yes.
Let me share my screen again, because I have also opened a PDF file where we can have this one. I have to scroll a little bit. Sorry for the blah, blah, blah. Yeah, here it is. This is the smallest non-trivial pairwise order experiment. Here are the 6 possible orders. And here are the PWO factors, the pairwise order factors. And what you can easily see is that these factors are not orthogonal to each other.
Mm-hmm.
So indeed, the pairwise order factors, by the nature of this experiment, are correlated. But that's just something you have to take into account, but it doesn't pose a real problem. It's just a practical restriction.
Okay. Thank you very much, Eric. Again, I open the time for the question. If you have any question, any of you from the attendants. Okay, I think I guess there is no other question, Eric. Even if it is very interesting, actually I still have several questions, but I don't want to dominate the session. So Eric, before the closing, if you have any sentences or something that you want to share to us, please, to close your session.
No, not particularly. I'm glad that I could deliver this talk, and I'm glad with your questions and your remarks. I'm impressed by the number of participants, and I'm still also impressed by the progress of technology, that we can so easily connect to each other, more or less real life, and have this talk to each other. It's impressive.
Okay. So thank you very much again, Professor Eric Schoon, for very nice talk and very useful. I think for many of us, what you are talking is new. It's also for me. So it is very very inspiring, and hopefully we can meet in person at the next
Yeah, that would
session,
be great.
next conference, or summer school, or whatever the program. But please stay here because there are some token of appreciation for you from the committee. I give to the Master of Ceremony the time for the next session. Thank you very
Thanks,
much
Bagus.
for your
Thank you.
attention to all of attendants, and also thank you very much for Professor Eric Schoon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Please, Ms. Sarah.
We thank you, Dr. Sartono, already lead this panel session 5. We thank you much, either Professor Eric Schoon, for the very enlightened sharing. I would like to invite Dr. Agus Muhammad Soleh, the chairman of ICMSDS 2020, to deliver the token of appreciation to Professor Eric, either to Dr. Bagus Sartono. The time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Sarah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And good afternoon, everyone. And good morning, Professor Eric. Nice to see you again. We meet at the experimental design workshop in I think 2016. 2016, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
in Bogor. Okay. And on behalf of the International Conference of Mathematics, Statistics, and Data Science 2020 committee, we would like to thank Professor Eric Schoon for sharing your knowledge and expertise at this conference. As our appreciation, we would like to share you a token of appreciation from committee. Please accept this, and for committee, thank you. This is for you.
Wonderful.
I think,
Wow.
yeah, we apologize if the appreciation is very simple and digital appreciation. Right?
Delightful. Thanks.
Yeah, I hope that you're impressed with this token. Okay, thank you again, Professor Eric Schoon from KU Leuven, Belgium, right? Okay, and we also thanks you for Dr. Bagus Sartono from IPB University as a moderator to lead this plenary session day 2 for committee. Yeah, this for you, Dr. Bagus. Okay. Thank you. In the end, for all speakers, participants, and committee, thank you to your contribution to this conference. And we apologize if any mistakes. Thank you very much, and see you maybe in the next semester, in the next conference. I return to it to Ms. Sarah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much, Dr. Agus. Thank you all honorable person. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we are come to a heart-beating end session because we will give award to many people here. First award, we would like to deliver special thanks to the board parties that have great support to make the conference happen. To chairperson that lead session by session of the parallel sessions during the whole ICMSDS 2020 program. Due to pandemic situation, the committee will send the token of appreciation and the certificate to your address. Thank you for your consideration. And of course, to all of you presenters and participants, the committee will also send T-shirts and certificate to your address. Please make sure you give your current and active address. Second, here you are, the list of the best winner of International Conference on Mathematics, Statistics, and Data Science 2020. The award of best paper goes to Husnul Khotimah with the title Robust Multi-Stage Method and Least Median Square Evaluation on Handling Outlier for Multiple Regression. Congratulations, Husnul Khotimah. If possible for you to turn on your camera, and maybe the committee could pin her.
Mana spotlightnya nih?
Husnul Khotimah, can you turn on your camera and raise your hand so then the committee could spotlight to you?
Thank you so much for the achievement.
Congratulations, Husnul Khotimah. The committee will contact you for the appreciation on your achievement as a best paper of this ICMSDS 2020. And we also congratulate you, Optika Adinda Putri, for your research under the title Track Cycle Optimization in Open Pit Coal Mining using Operation Research Method of Simulation and Queuing Theory. Congratulations, Optika Adinda Putri. If possible, you can raise your hand or say something so we can spotlight you.
Yes, thank you, Ms. Sarah Simanjuntak, for the announcement. And I would like to say thank you for the ICMSDS committee for this opportunity. And I hope that this research can give contributions to the relevant fields of research. Thank you.
Congratulations one more time, Husnul Khotimah from IPB University Indonesia and Optika Adinda Putri from PT Pama Persada Nusantara. Ladies and gentlemen, students and participants, here we go to the award of Best Presenter. And the award goes to Septia Devi Prihastuti Yasmirullah from Institut Teknologi 10 November. Title Modification of Multivariate Adaptive Regression Spline. Congratulations, Septia from Institut Teknologi 10 November as Best Presenter on this ICMSDS 2020.
Okay, thank you for the committee of this international conference, and I'm glad to be part of this event. Thank you.
Congratulations, and we congratulate you, Christiana Anggraini Putri from IPB University. Christiana, if you're still in the main room, you can raise your hand or you can turn microphone audio. Okay, committee will send the appreciation for your achievement as best presenter both to you, Septia Devi Prihastuti, and either to Christiana Anggraini Putri. We now come to the award for the best audience, best participants on the ICMSDS 2020. We congratulate you, Mr. Muhammad Nur Fikriyah Adam, Mr. Raden Aurelius Andika, Mrs. Fitria Virgantari, Mr. Rahmat Sagara, and to you, to Mrs. Aswi. If you are there, we can ask one of you, maybe Mr. Rahmat Sagara, you can say something, you can say the words. as the best audience of this International Conference on Mathematics, Statistics, and Data Science 2020. We welcome you, Mr. Rahmat Sagara.
First of all, I would like to say thank you for the honor for me from the International Conference on Mathematics and Statistics and Data Science 2020. And frankly speaking, I am inspired by the people here. Thank you very much for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rahmat Sagara. We inspire each other in this ICMSDS conference. And we saw here that Mrs. Aswi is also joined with us. Mrs. Aswi, we give you another 1 minute to say the words as the best audience on ICMSDS 2020. We welcome you, Mrs. Aswi.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm so happy and to appreciation. So it is really unexpected, but I want to say that it is an amazing international conference that I attend. So thank you very much for the all ICMSDS committee. Thank you very much.
We thank you too, and congratulations one more time. Honorable guests, beloved students, participants, ladies and gentlemen, I now humbly give the floor to the host of ICMSDS 2020 for giving the closing remarks. I would like to invite Head Department of Statistics, Dr. Anang Kurnia, MSE, for delivering the closing remarks.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Sarah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Honorable Chairman of Indonesian Statistical Association, ISI Indonesia, Honorable of Forum Pendidikan Tinggi Statistika Indonesia, Honorable President of Indonesian Mathematical Society, Honorable Chairman of IORA, the Honorable Chairman of International Conference on Mathematics, Statistics, and Data Science 2020, and also the Honorable Committee, invited speaker, and all participants. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Thanks to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala who has given His grace to so that this event can be well processed. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a truly inspiring day for me. I believe that all of you have well done throughout the 2 days conference. In this conference, we have learned a lot from the plenary session that delivered by the amazing and invited speakers and the other speaker who have shared their interesting work. Furthermore, I would like to thank to all participants, invited speakers, presenters, and as well as active participants. You all have done an outstanding job sharing with us your valuable knowledge, insight, and experience on field of mathematics, statistics, and data science. Also, I say congratulations to the best participant, best papers, best audience. Congratulations to all of us, participant, invited speakers, chairperson, and everyone who made this conference happen. I hope this event could also strengthen the networking and collaborating among us, especially in research and academic on mathematics, statistics, and data science. Last but not least, I would like to thank all the committee members of your hard work and in organizing this conference and ensuring that it processes smoothly. Ladies and gentlemen, I also would like to apologize for any inconvenience that you might experience during this conference. Finally, here be the International Conference on Mathematics, Statistics, and Data Science 2020 is formally closed. Thank you once again for your participation. I hope that you enjoy your event. I am looking forward to meet you all in person in the future. I wish you stay safe and healthy. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Dr. Anang Kurnia, Head of Department of Statistics, IPB University Indonesia, for the closing remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of our conference. Again, I'm sure that you will agree with me that we have had 2 lively days of discussion on different aspects of mathematics, statistics, and data science through this ICMSDS 2020. We thank you very much to all of you speakers, panelists, resource persons for the insightful information and experiences you have shared with us. And of course, to all of you students and participants, we thank you one and all of you. Thank you very much. Congratulations to Department of Statistics and Department of Mathematics, Faculty of Mathematics and Natural Sciences, IPB University Indonesia for their efforts to ensure the smooth running of this meeting and who have made our online conference pleasant and very fruitful. Congratulations. Without any further ado, now let us go and say goodbye to each other. God bless each and every one of us. Bye and see you in the next program. Bye for now. Good afternoon.